So hello all and welcome. Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. In today's video, I would like to discuss The Marvels, a movie that has gotten a lot of attention, and surprisingly, most of it was negative, since the mainstream media tends to shill for these uber feminist female empowerment slay queen, you go girl type movies. Very surprising how much the mainstream media has come out against this film. It's got a horrible rating on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics. We don't know what the audience thinks yet. Of course, we'll know soon enough. And I have no doubt that Rotten Tomatoes will hide many a negative review to themselves, try and mitigate the damage that will be done to this movie by viewers' critiques. Of course, that this movie was even made, damage has already been done. This abomination will be created at all. So we're going to talk about how much this thing cost to make. We're going to talk about how much it's likely to open with in its opening weekend, which actually includes Thursday as well, I think, today. So they're counting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the total weekend box office take. That's a big weekend. Yeah, they got to make a big weekend. They got to include Thursday just to get a decent amount. It's still not going to be decent, I don't think. We're going to discuss how much it's likely to lose, and just basically go into a deep dive in regards to, what this movie represents in general. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? So, from Cosmic Book News. Nifty little play on words there instead of comic book news. Cosmic Book News. Okay, I like that. It's kitschy. Where is the testosterone? You could ask that about the whole world, really. Except for maybe China. But in regards to the Western world, yeah, where is the testosterone? Now, the Marvels box office projections plummet. The film stars Brie Larson, yeah, of course. Iman Vellani, is that the Indian-looking broad there? Teyonah Parris and Zawe Ashton. Yeah. Very eclectic, very diverse group of names, except for Brie Larson, of course. She doesn't count. White people can't be diverse. We're all the same, didn't you know that? Whitey is whitey. We're all evil and toxic and colonizers. Yeah. And all racist, too, apparently. And we're not diverse at all. Hey, you gotta be non-white to be diverse. Anyway, Disney must not be buying up tickets this time around, as projections are plummeting for the Marvel's opening box office. Yeah, so for past Marvel movies, especially recently, what Disney would do is they would actually buy tickets, and then they would report that the, showing sold out. Meanwhile, there's like 2 people in the theater. Yeah, so they got caught buying up their own tickets. So yeah, they can't pull that trick again. No. As projections are plummeting for Marvel's opening box office, the flick stars Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, and Teyonah Parris as Captain Monica Rambeau. Is that the lesbo one? Is that the one from the first movie that was like a co-pilot or a friend of Carol Danvers way back, and she's got a kid but she's a lesbo or something? They always got to throw in like a black lesbian, right? Yeah, you've got to maximize the diversity points, huh? Minority, female, lesbian. I wonder if she's trans as well. I don't know. Directed by Nia DaCosta, with Zawe Ashton playing the villain. What? That don't sound like a white guy. Isn't the villain always a white dude? Or at the very least a dude? Wow, this movie is so anti-male that they don't even have a man of color. It's so anti-male, they don't even put a dude in the role of the villain to vilify the man as he deserves to be vilified. because he's so horrible and evil and toxic. No, it's a woman. Are there any men in this movie? Any men at all? Oh, right, Samuel L. Jackson, the token black guy. What does he get, like 5 minutes of screen time, probably? Worth a mention is that this is a comic book movie we are talking about. I'm aware. Who buys comic books, by the way? Nobody buys comic books anymore, but who used to buy comics? Men? I mean, when I was a kid, comic books were a big deal, but I'm old. But I read comics, but I'll tell you what, when I was in school, you know who I didn't see reading comics on the playground? Girls! It was always boys. So who's this movie made for? By the way, I don't think it's made for anybody. Boys, girls, I don't know who it's made for. Maybe the people that made the movie? Talk about a niche audience. The cast, the crew. Wow, yeah, they're going to make a bundle of money off those 212 people. Yeah, we are talking about here, and yet there's absolutely no testosterone to be found anywhere. How dare you say that? Women have testosterone too. It's a minute amount compared to men, yo. There are no male superheroes or supervillains, no boyfriends or romance. Of course not. Because it's a slay queen, you go girl, independent female, woman, don't need no man. Movie! So it's not made for you, evil man! What was it that Brie Larson said? Isn't she that chick that was at the Oscars or something? And she got up on stage and said about that movie she did, A Wrinkle in Time. I don't need to hear 40-year-old white dudes critiquing my movie. Wasn't made for you, mer. Yeah. Apparently this movie wasn't made for them either. Even though that's your core demographic for the comic book action movie. Heck, the $1 billion Barbie movie even had a fair amount of testosterone. Did it? I'll be honest, I didn't see that movie. I don't go to the movies anymore. If anybody out there wants to tell me if that actually had some testosterone in it, some manly men in it, let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear. So as we get close to the film's debut this week, I think it debuts today. The box office, maybe it was yesterday or today, I think today, the box office estimates have been dropping faster than Brie Larson and Nia DaCosta dropping white dude comments. And there's the movie poster. Wow, that's horrible. What is it with Disney Marvel and their obsession with 80s graphics? This looks like a movie poster from the 80s. I should know. I was a young man in the 80s, and this looks like something out of the 80s. I mean, it was kind of cool with Thor Ragnarok, which was actually a good movie, to have all of those, callbacks to the 80s, the music and all that, but... and some of the graphics, the imagery, but no, it's been done to death. It certainly doesn't work here with these slay queens. Where's that? Oh, there's Nick Fury, though, front and center and very, very tiny compared to the woman. And, of course, they overshadow him because he's just an evil man and only has one eye to boot. Oh, yeah, and cats. Didn't Nick Fury's eye get clawed out by some cat monster in the first movie, Captain Marvel, by some creature that disguised itself as a cat? So is this movie gonna have a bunch of those creatures in it? So it's got a lot of cats in it. So it's got a bunch of single, don't need no man, woman, and cats. Now all we need is some copious amounts of boxed wine to fully complete the trope. So, yeah, projections are plummeting. Okay, it comes out the 11/10, but I think it's opening today, actually. I thought it was opening on Thursday. Anyway, Deadline, of all places, is reporting, here's something we don't see often, opening projections plummeting for a Marvel Studios movie. Could it be that people are getting tired of the woke crap, and they're getting tired of being... lectured to and having Hollywood stars moralize to them in movies? Could it be people are getting tired of going to movies that reflect the current state of the world when you're trying to escape when you go to the movies? The site is actually playing catch up, as previous box office reports have said. The Marvels is opening low, even lower than The Flash. Lower than The Flash? How's that possible? I mean, Ezra Miller with his... kidnapping, allegedly, at the home invasions, allegedly beating up women. Not alleged. It's on film. Did he choke some broad out in public? It's gonna do worse than that. Wow, that's not good, man. Initially, Deadline reported a $75 million box office for the Marvels. Now, is that the U.S. market or is that globally? I think that's got to be just the U.S. market. That sounds high to me, to be honest. But now it's said to be around 60, with some estimates as low as 50. I would bet 40. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to lowball. I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to lowball and say that this makes in the 40 million range in the U.S. market for its opening weekend. Maybe it'll make more if they throw in Thursday, if it does open today. But, yeah. I'm actually estimating in the $40 million range. Box Office Pro even goes so far as $45 million. Somebody there's a little more red-pilled than everybody else, and agrees with Deadline that projections are dropping. Yeah. Okay, so that was, the U.S. market, because now we get to international estimates. The international estimates are also not good, as projections say the Marvels could open to 80 million. Internationally, I think that number's kind of low, too. Are they including China in that? I guess they are. Which could give the flick a worldwide box office opening less than the worldwide debut of The Eternals, which was 160 million. That movie made that much on its opening weekend? I don't believe it. The Eternals was crap, by the way. That was a horrible movie, and this is going to be worse. This movie's worse. It's even more pandering to the effinist left, to the cultural Marxist left. So I think 160 is too high. I would guess like 120. 110, 120 globally. And the theatrical day and date impacted Black Widow, 148 million. That was a bad movie. That was a horrible movie. All the men were fools. The floating bad guy fortress in the sky. That's total nonsense. Bad guy headquarters was floating, and it took it like 27 minutes to fall to the ground. That was a crap movie. Deadline ads were cautious that international could come in lower. Oh, it will come in lower. It's all up to the fans and word of mouth at this point. The Marvels is going to be another word of mouth movie where fan reception will determine the outcome. Yeah. Much like we saw with James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3, except that was actually a decent movie. I mean, it wasn't the best of the three Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but it wasn't just standing by itself a bad movie. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I mean, yeah, okay. Peter Quill was kind of a sniveling weakling throughout most of the movie, pining away for a dead Gamora years later. But, we got to see him go back to Earth and reunite with his granddad. One thing I didn't like about that movie, one thing I don't like about the, Marvel Universe in general is that they haven't really developed Peter Quill's character and have him unlocking his powers. If you remember in the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, his father Ego talked about using him as a battery. Well, how can you use someone as a battery unless they are an actual power source? So Disney hasn't really explored or expanded upon what powers Peter Quill might still have locked inside himself as a half Celestial. I would love that to be explored in the future. They haven't done that. That's one thing that annoys me. But otherwise, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie wasn't half bad compared to this piece of trash, this Trek, which is objectively bad quality, which opened soft, managed to be successful. Yeah. Quite simply, if The Marvels is a good movie, if. It's a big if. And by the way, I've seen all of the trailers. It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie at all. It should be a success if it's anything like Quantumania or Thor, Love and Thunder. The Marvels is done for it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Anybody out there see that movie, Thor, Love and Thunder, or Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania? Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania was actually better than Thor, Love and Thunder. They were both bad movies, but one was better than the other. Thor, Love and Thunder was horrible. I mean, all the male characters were just made idiots. You had Fat Zeus, who was a clown. You had in-shape Thor, who was still treated like a fool and made into a clown and just, you know, mocked and ridiculed ceaselessly. And then you had Natalie Portman phoning it in with that horrible performance and her CGI muscles. Meanwhile, Chris Hemsworth, he didn't get CGI muscles. That dude was having to juice to the gills every day to get that physique. Meanwhile, she just struts in all out of shape and, you know, like the curdled milk she is at 39 or whatever. And they give her CGI muscles. I think Chris Hemsworth would have liked to just be, you know, big fat sloppy dad bod dude like he was in Endgame. But no. He's going to work his ass off. But her and her female privilege, she just waltzes in and gets a big fat paycheck without having to do much of anything. I'm not an actor, but I could have done a hell of a lot better job than her. Fucking A. I could have played a woman better than her. I could have played her character better than her. Well, it's not saying much, though. Natalie Portman is not the most gifted actress to begin with. But anyway. Oh, excuse me, actor. Not allowed to make distinctions between men and women. Yeah. So Captain Marvel opened to a huge $153 million back in 2019. Yeah, but that was like required reading. You had to see that movie to see Endgame. Of course, with the reason being because of being sandwiched between the Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah, precisely. Their Marvel's runtime is a short 90 minutes, like 100 with, I guess, the credits at the end, and maybe like one or two, like, end credit scenes. Wow, that's short. That's short, man. Wasn't it originally a lot longer? That they had to cut a lot out? They had to do a lot of reshoots, too, after September 2022. Ooh, boy. Regarding the shot above at Disney for buying up all tickets, fans posted pictures online of themselves at empty movie theaters for Captain Marvel, while online ticket retailers said the theater was jam-packed. Yeah, imagine that theater shilling for Disney. Yeah. Shocker there! Yeah, this movie's got to be real bad, by the way, because it's being lambasted by mainstream critics who usually carry water for Disney. So if the mainstream critics are rating it poorly, you know it's bad. I've been told Disney and Marvel are basically broke. Really? Oh, shit. Well, you know, they've lost a lot of money and used interns to create posters for the Marvels. Really? Can you imagine that? I mean, usually Disney would spend huge amounts of money to market a movie, but instead they're getting interns, people essentially working for free, to create movie posters for this piece of crap. Almost as if they know that this thing is going to bomb, that it's a failure from the start, so why invest any more money in it? It's just going to be a loss. Just get Joey over there, the gopher who goes to get my coffee every morning. Get him to make some posters. And have him put them up around town. What about the other 49 states, sir? To hell with them! We'll just mark it here in Florida! Or wherever Disney's headquarters are. Yeah. What a joke. So if that's true, Disney doesn't have the money to splurge on tickets this time around. Oh, I'm sure they have the money, or could get it from BlackRock or Vanguard or State Street. They just don't want to. It's not really worth it for them. The Marvels opens Thursday with advanced previews. Oh, see, I was right. So it does open today, but with advanced previews. This doesn't officially open until tomorrow, but in limited theaters, it's opening today. And of course, they want to maximize their earnings. Yeah, they need to. Friday, Saturday, Sunday won't be enough for us to have good opening numbers. We got to throw Thursday in as well. Yeah. There's a trailer. Should we watch it? See, I'm hesitant to watch this trailer because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But maybe I can at various points stop the sound and such, and that'll alter it enough to the point where it's fair use. I mean, me commenting on it already, even if it's in its entirety, should be fair use. But, you know. Let's give it a shot.
Heroes. It's an old-fashioned notion, but the world can still use them.
I love how they're trying to bait you by showing the popular heroes that people actually want to see at the start of the movie. Some member berries to try and draw you in. Lovely.
Ready.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
You're trying to associate Captain Marvel with the superheroes that people actually want to see. Trying to shoehorn her in there. Yeah. Trying to generate interest that way with nostalgia. Yeah, good luck!
We destroyed Thanos.
Okay, yeah, so some flashbacks to Endgame, right, which was actually a good movie. Yeah, as compared to this piece of crap. That's the villain, by the way. That's the villain. A broad. Very unimposing looking broad. Isn't that a, that looks like the Hammer. Yeah, that the villain from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Ronan, the Accuser, had.
This is just the beginning. She tore a hole in space.
Ooh, she tore a hole in space! So imposing! And of course, I think that black woman was the lesbo. And there's Nick Fury. Yeah. And of course, there's Captain Marvel with her one and only face. That's the only expression that she has. Yeah. Resting bitch face.
What are you prepared to do?
I'm invincible.
Your powers only make me stronger.
So you can't be matched. Can't be controlled.
It's got some nice visuals. Other than that, I don't see anything that's all that appealing.
For one last fight.
By the way, where are the men, ladies? I thought you were all about equality and diversity. I thought you wanted 50-50 representation. Meanwhile, there's no male leads in this movie. Where are the men? We only want equality when it favors us, and we only claim to want equality so we can gain superiority and get every role. Yeah, I see. Of course.
You cannot protect your people.
Lots of CGI. We've got the lesbian king of Asgard, who's a chick and a lesbian, of course.
They're here.
The Marvels! Ooh!
Monica, you gotta fly.
No.
Black girl magic.
Oh, the black lady saves the day! Oh, God. How horrible. So that looks really bad. I mean, wow. I am so uninterested. So uninterested. So let's take a look at this film's Rotten Tomatoes score at this very moment, which is just critics. So with 150 reviews in, it has a 61. That's better than the 52 it had the other day. So I guess that Disney was able to shill a little bit and get some mainstream critics to give it a higher score than they normally would, probably with promises of backstage access, more access to the stars and the movies for early screenings in the future. That's what critics love. And in return, of course, you're going to give a decent review. Yeah. 61% though, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad for a Marvels movie, yo. That doesn't even have any. I wonder what the the audience score. Oh boy, I bet you that Rotten Tomatoes is going to have to do a lot of damage control behind the scenes and be deleting many negative reviews by the audience. Let's see what some of these critics have to say, shall we? Here's one. What was once whiz-bang imaginative and sky-high thrilling, disarming despite its armaments, has imploded spectacularly. And Marvel and the Marvels has no one to blame but themselves. Barry Hertz, a top critic. I don't know what makes a top critic. I guess that's whoever has shilled the most for establishment media, big entertainment in the past. Christy Puchko, The Marvels is a rocky ride that feels crowded by MCU compromises, which undermines the star power of its cast. What star power? Brie Larson? A Wrinkle in Time? It's not much of a star, yo. And undermines the star power of its cast and the talents of its director, which aren't really that great. Adam Graham says, as tentpole entertainment, it feels inconsequential. Inconsequential. It's slightly diverting. This is a movie with an all-female cast, by the way, and highly diverse. To put it in corporate speak, it could have been an email. That's not good. Mark Duchsik, if this series is going to require so much homework, the payoff should be more worthwhile than this. So, yeah, it's kind of getting torn to shreds. And they could say, well, it's got a 61. That's pretty good. That's... It's not horrible. It's not a failing grade. We don't know how many negative reviews Rotten Tomatoes might have deleted, though. So how much did this movie cost to make? Well, it cost something like $278 million, or it's $275 million as of September 22nd. But a lot of this movie was filmed in the UK, so they got a $55 million subsidy. So it ended up costing something like $219 0.8 million or something, rounded up. I mean, it's 220 million. So 220 million plus marketing. Now, usually marketing is about the same amount as the movie cost to make, but of course they put almost no money into marketing this turd because they know that, hey, you can polish up a turd as much as you want. It's still a turd. You can put a pig in a suit, but it's still a pig in a suit. So they put about 100 million into marketing, so 320 million conservatively. So you're going to have to make double that, since they get about 50%. They get roughly 50% of the overall take. So the movie is going to have to make about, wow, oh geez, $640 million just to break even. Now that's just the break even number. 640 million to make no money. I think I see why they didn't want to invest very much in marketing. They don't want to lose any more than they're already gonna. But you also have to keep in mind that one of the biggest markets for Hollywood is China. And in China, it's not a 50-50 split. It's a 75-25 split in favor of the Chinese state, which owns everything, because China is still a communist country. Makes you wonder why we buy all our crap from them and subsidize their evil communist regime. But anyway, so it's going to have to make more than 640 million if you throw in China. In China, it's going to have to make well above what it does in other countries to make up for that 25% shortfall. But let's take a look now. Now, there's some other things to keep in mind. Check this out. Okay? World of Real. The Marvels was plagued with lengthy reshoots and low test scores, which will dramatically up the cost. So, yesterday I had written about how The Marvels was tracking lower than expected for its opening weekend, which is Friday, next Friday. A $50 million opening seems to be the number going around internal tracking circles. I would be willing to bet it's under 50. I would be willing to bet, and that's in the United States, by the way, like I said, 40 to 45 million. That's my guess. That's my estimate. Variety is now reporting the Marvels received middling reviews at a secret test screening earlier this year. MCU movies tend to not be tested, but it seems as though they made a very rare exception for Nia DaCosta's troubled movie. That's because they knew it was crap, so they wanted to see just how crap it was. The report adds that while it was still in post-production, DaCosta disappeared. It turns out that she had already started to work on her next film. She quit. It's in the can. I'm out of here. You want to do reshoots? Find somebody else. Oh, wow. That can't be good for the continuity of the movie, or the coherence of it, which you're going to see is the case. A source tells Variety, if you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go. Yeah, that's odd. Was the movie already technically done? Or was it just in the was it in the contract that once you reach this point, technically you're done, and so your contract is over? That's odd. That's odd, unless there's a specific point at which, okay, production is now done. At least my job is over, so I can go. If you remember, DaCosta had previously mentioned that she didn't really have full directorial control on the Marvels. Of course, she's going to say that because she knows it's going to be a disaster. She wants to mitigate the damage to her reputation. I didn't have full control over this turd. That's why it turned out so bad. She added that the Marvels was very much a Kevin Feige production. I would believe that. I believe that. It's his movie. So I think you live in that reality. That's not to say she doesn't have any responsibility, although she's a woman, so, you know, effectively she doesn't. But I tried to go in with the knowledge that some of you are going to take a back seat. It gets worse. The Variety piece adds that the Marvels was also plagued with lengthy reshoots. You know how much those can cost? It's like shooting the movie twice. The aim was to bring some kind of coherence to the story. Coherence. Oh, wow. Which is supposed to connect characters from 2+ Disney shows, meaning WandaVision and Miss Marvel, both crap. However, instead of seamlessly building on the success of Captain Marvel was not a success, okay? Avengers and Endgame, those were a success. This was just sandwiched in between and rode their coattails. It wasn't a success by its own merits, okay? It did what women do. It rode the coattails of men. It rode the coattails of better IPs. Of course! It's a feminist bonanza. Of course that's what it did. Yeah, to bring coherence to a tangled storyline. Yikes. So the Marvels cost $273 to make, $273 million, actually $275. But some are, now even if you take into account the minus $55 million, so $220 million, some are saying that the number might turn out to be much higher since the data, this data is based on financial reports from the end of 2022. So that doesn't include a lot of the reshoots or the post-production work. And that post-production work can run into the tens, if not hundreds of millions. This could have cost maybe $375 million to make. $350, $375? Uh-oh. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. So anyway, this person says, I'm supposed to catch the Marvels next Wednesday. It will be released in theaters on Friday, November 10th. Okay, so this person is also like a mainstream reviewer of sorts, and even they're not a big fan of it. They don't seem to like it before even going in. So there you go. There you go. This movie is going to have to conservatively, and I think we know that it costs more than $275 million, even minus the $55 million subsidy that they got from the UK. I think you could easily tack on another $50 to $100 million. But even conservatively taking their word that 220 for production and 100 million for marketing is the real number, the final calculation, it's going to have to make $640 million just to make no money. Which is what breaking even is. Zero profit. And I don't think that the making of movies is done to make no money. Well, it's actually done to, spread the message. So there is some truth to that. Movies are not created anymore to make money. They're created to spread propaganda, to spread the message, and to indoctrinate people into leftist, woke, groupthink ideology. But let me know what you think. Do you think that the Marvels is going to make money? What's your estimation in regards to what the opening box office will be if you tabulate Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's take? Do you think it's going to be more than 120 million? Do you think it's going to be more than 140? I think that the domestic box office for America is maybe going to be 40 to 45 million. Might even be below 40. But I don't think it's going to be over 50. I would be surprised. I would be very surprised, to be totally honest. But let me know what you think the take's going to be. And if you've already seen it, let me know what you think of this hot mess in the comments section. And please like and subscribe to my BitChute and Rumble channels if you had not already. You will see the address in the top of this video. Just look up. On BitChute, I am the Realist Philosopher, and on Rumble, I am also the Realist Philosopher. So follow me on Alt Tech. Alt Tech is where it is at. We need Alt Tech to break up the monopoly that places like YouTube and, well, there aren't any other major video hosting sites really that have as big a reach, and that's why you need to sign up for Rumble. You need to sign up for BitChute. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed. Leave some comments. Give me a like. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and take care.